Hi, I'm Avalon Starlight, and you are listening to the Rebel Unicorns podcast. This season, we are diving deep into what being an empath in business actually looks like. Listen each week as I share tips and tricks to master your empath energy, as well as sharing incredible guests who have created successful businesses by claiming their empath title. Are you ready? Let's get our rebel on. All right, magical entrepreneurs, magical humans, I am excited because today's guest on the Rebel Unicorn podcast is somebody that I have been in the glorious energy of for years now. When we met, it was kismet. It was absolute kismet. Our eyes met across the floor, and that was it. That was it. And our entire relationship has been built on energy. From the very beginning, it was like two empaths meeting in the night, coming together to grow, expand, and share energy in a way that serves not only our communities, but expands even beyond that. And that has so much to do with you as a human. And I'm so excited because I do have the creator and the CEO of the Freedom Method, sugar-free, what is it? Sugar-free method?
Wonderful. The Sugar Freedom Method.
Sugar Freedom Method. Jenn Edden with me today. And Jenn, I am so grateful and excited that you are here.
Avalon. I don't know what to say other than it was magic. Everything she said was the truth. Avalon has helped me so much. And what's so fun, we can talk about that or not. Yeah. But the scattered energy just doesn't get you what you want. And it is amazing when you can take that and learn how to understand it and then put it out into the world in a very focused way with your chakras in balance, that life really takes off. So forever grateful.
And I mean, I always ask this question just because I think it's important for the listeners to know, like, what Rebel Unicorn House are you? Do you remember?
Oh gosh. Yes, I filled it back out. No. Remind me of, I think the last one. I'll know immediately.
Could be cosmic, ancestral, elemental, or catalyst. Cosmic, which makes perfect sense, right? As it'll be interesting to see how many people are cosmic during this season of Empath in business, because we're so aligned with the humans that we're working with, right?
Yes, amazing, 100%.
So Jenn also was back in the day. If you go to the original podcast called Tea with Tamara, Jenn, you were my second guest ever that I've ever interviewed on a podcast. And now we're back in completely different places, both as magical entrepreneurs and both as business women, with so much more clarity, so much more focus, so much more growth, expansion, love, 100%. Life. So like, if you want to go back and see where we were, you can go check that episode. I'll tag you in the show notes.
I think I live in a new state now also. My business is entirely different. It's amazing what can happen in a couple of years.
I love that. So why don't we talk about, because we're talking about energy and business and intuition and being an empath. Can you just talk about what it was like when you didn't have connection to that part of yourself?
Oh, 100%. That is so important, because so many women, so many people suffer from, and I don't blame anyone, yes, but we're at the whim of whoever's marketing to us, whoever sounds good on paper. But what I wasn't able to do is connect with what really works with Jenn Edden, and for my company and my mission, right? And my ethics and my vibe. And so talk about how many people, again, not bad or good, I've hired, paid money to, who just didn't energetically vibrate with me. And so it was one of those, I didn't really get my return on investment, or I really didn't see much of anything. And it wasn't them, I wasn't vibing with them. They were not aligned with me, but I didn't know what aligned with me. So I would just hire, like, with the fingers crossed, wing and a prayer. Remember those days? And so it's just tough. The good news is I didn't give up like you. I never give up. I'm 18 years in now, 18. So I never did. But the beauty is, and we'll get to it whenever, like, my life flows now. My income has doubled and tripled. And when I say it feels effortless, I work hard. It feels effortless energetically. I had the biggest week of my life last week. And I was 7 out of 9. It was just yes, 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 yes. 7 out of 9, yes. We were giggling. And now I get to help these women. And it's so beautiful to know that my bank account is affected in a positive way while I'm helping people kick and manage their sugar addiction. It's a win-win. So yes, yay.
Well, and I want to talk about that because when we're not clear on our own internal energy as empaths, or we have given our power of the gift of being able to read energy, because even when we met at an event, we as empaths had the capacity to pick up the energy of everybody else in the room. And when they would go into this, oh my God, this is the thing, we would take that in and amplify it, almost creating like an even bigger FOMO experience for ourselves.
Wow. That is brilliant. And I would say that's what was happening, but I didn't know. And with all due respect, this is not a pitch for Avalon's amazing work, but the work we did together in like 8 weeks was what I needed to ground and just remember things I had forgotten. Yes. And we are 100 million %. And I just want to encourage people to not do anything until their energy is grounded and they understand themselves and the chakra healing powers and just understand ourselves. Otherwise, we're at the whim of whatever people are throwing at us and it's blind. And in business, I can't really afford to be blind, and not even for money. I have plenty of that. I mean, I have 3 children. I have a relationship. I don't have the time to waste on that. Yeah, I don't have the time. So
coming back to the pre-clarity energy.
Okay, let's do it. I'll tip into that tiptoe. Sure.
Just so that other women who are in the space, because it was what, 2018 when we met, at the beginning of 2018.
Yeah, it's about 3 years.
So that's 3 years ago. And if you've been in business 18 years, right? We're only talking about a small portion of this window in which you've become so clear on your own internal alignment and what feels like a resonant yes for you. So that the women that are listening, or the listeners that are men, transgender, whomever is listening, can fully feel, and I say transgender because I have a child who's transgendering, and it's the LGBT community holds such a dear, sweet part of my heart. Is this space of what it felt like for you in the beginning, what were the things that somebody could be like, oh my God, yeah, no, that's totally me right now, versus when you tapped into claiming 100%. Your energy.
100%.
Because it's the claiming.
Let's talk about it. Mm-hmm.
Right? What the actual symptoms of not being in alignment felt like.
100%. So it's FOMO. I got to do that. The clock is ticking on that program. Yeah, I know we all know that one. So-and-so is doing it. I should do it too. Definitely feeling concerned, but never wanting to give up, right? All these years, you do the math. I've been around a long time, and it wasn't that I wasn't doing great. I wasn't aligned this way, and it didn't flow. It felt much harder. So the key is I know there's so many of us so passionate about what we do that we don't want to give up, but we're feeling lost. Desperation comes to mind, and I don't love that word, but now we just let things go. So it's JOMO, it's the joy of missing out for me. And I never feel desperate. Desperate is a very low vibe energy. And it's if it doesn't align with my heart and my soul, I don't do it, and I'm able to let it go. So also not being able to let stuff go, right? Holding on, being in your head about it. Oh gosh, it's like a mental masturbation. Seriously, I have none of that now. If I say no, it's no, I'm done, I move on.
That is huge. And I think that's something that the listeners need to hear, is how the difference of being in your head versus being in your body.
Yes. Yes, the body always knows. In fact, if I can just say, the Sugar Freedom Method teaches this. All this heady stuff, similar in business with diet, yes. But what does your body really want? And so it's fun because I took what I do in the Sugar Freedom Method, I just translated it to business. Your body will tell you if something works or not. And it really does help with kicking and managing addiction. Just like your body, your energy will tell you whether you're aligned or not. I used to get icky feelings in my stomach and still hire someone. I remember, let's blow that off, because I was in my head and it made sense on paper, but it didn't make sense in my heart. And lo and behold, through no fault of the practitioner that took my money, I didn't get the results. And I was like, oh, so we'll try again. Let's try another diet. Gag me, because you weren't aligned. because there was a misalignment. I am the last stop for women, which is why I say gag me. I guarantee that. I just am. And so you could be the last stop for yourself with business by going with what feels right for high level empaths like us and women and men, transgender listening. Yeah.
So then I remember that too. It would be like, it's almost like the Prince Charming effect, right? Because we're so out of tune with our own body that everything that we invest in is going to save us.
Nice job. Save us. We're not drowning.
No.
I'm not drowning. I can swim. Nothing has to save us, and we're not broken. It's how do we want to align ourselves for the most impact on the world, as well as our bank accounts, because money is energy. So for me, money is energy. The more I'm aligned, the more money I make naturally while making a difference. It's like a win-win-win. It's a win-win-win. It's fabulous.
And I think that they keep telling me, so Spirit talks to me, everybody who's never listened to my podcast before. So I'm very lucky as an interviewer because I get guided by Spirit about what things to talk about. And this, I think, is a big word that you and I can really bring to the table, especially as energetic entrepreneurs, as those who can tap into intuition or can read energy or feel energy in the way that we do. And I think that this word is kind of like, bad word almost for most entrepreneurs in the beginning. I know, it's like boundaries.
I gotta be liked. Gosh, gotta be liked. That is the quickest money squisher, if I could think of a more professional term, wanting to be liked, as well as, market to everyone, you market to no one. And so, and I don't say it like marketing, but really you have, and I love this about Avalon, like, what she's about. If you don't like cursing and spirit and woo, you're in the wrong place. You are, because that woman generates more than I care to talk about from woo and from aligning and the spirits talking. And so 100 million percent, 100 million percent, that needs to go. And the people pleasing piece. And it's okay to say no. Well, and that we actually help others when we say it. It's incredible.
We were talking the other day, and it was a really profound thing that you said that I think that you wouldn't even notice because you're so clear of a channel right now. It's almost like it's hard for you to remember what it was like not being clear. Would you say that's true?
I can bring it back. No, I can bring it back. I can.
But like you threw into a conversation with me, and I loved this conversation because you were like, no, this is how my business runs now. This is what they get. This is how often we talk. This is what, you know what I mean? And you hold this really strong, firm container with your clients, which is also a really significant piece to note for being an empath in business, is because we will get stuck the fuck in with clients.
With feeling. That's right. With feeling for them. So I've got this thing I tell myself, you ready? Because I am a high level empath. I mean, I feel stuff before it's coming. Don't get me started on 9/11. I was depressed. I was in church every day, praying. I just couldn't even get out of bed. And I was like, and I worked. I went to church right where the bombings were. So I was there. Okay. I experienced 9/11. That's for another day. And so what I tell myself, this is more than helpful, is that I do others a disservice in their growth if I don't hold the boundaries. Because I don't like to do people a disservice. And when I say that, I'm able to hold the boundaries versus women or whoever, will do it and then they'll feel bad about it. Like I'm hurting them. There's something about maybe we're hurting them, we're taking away from them by giving to ourselves. And I've got it as no, they grow more and heal and kick their addiction stuff when I hold my boundaries. And I do that with my children, my husband. And so I have it as a win, and I like to win, and it feels good. So I have it as a win. I just like to win things. I win.
I know.
I have it as a win. I have it as a win. I like that. That's able to, because we want to help as practitioners, coaches, healers. And so I have it as I'm helping them when I hold the boundary. And I got to go. Today, I have a podcast. You've got 2 minutes. Let's go. Okay, right. Jen.
Right. And I love this too as well, because for those that are listening that are parents, right? Can you talk about the boundaries that as an entrepreneur in business that you have with your family, with your kids, so that,
so much guilt around that. I work a lot and then my kids suffer. I'm like, no. If there's any guilt there, 100%, and it'll come and go. But for me, I've got guilt rigged as, and jealousy. So we'll talk about those two. They come together, make guilt or jealousy, like, oh, this one gets to spend more time or whatever. But for the guilt piece for parents, I have it as what I feel guilty about. I'm just going to go fix that. So if I feel like I'm not giving a kid enough time, well, I'm not going to feel guilty. I'm just going to, like, Fridays, I work less now and I hang out with my kids and we do board games. I'm not going to have time every single day of the week. You also have to decide what kind of parent you are. Truth, right? Full transparency. I am not a parent that's a helicopter at all. In fact, I need multiple breaks from my children all day. I go away every quarter by myself. And yes, I have a healthy marriage. I just know what my energy needs, and it needs to constantly be removed from my children and my family. And they know that. And so there's no weirdness because we communicate. But I will say, for those who feel the guilt and everything else, we'll just fix it. Use whatever you feel guilty about. And just, so like I said, Fridays. And yesterday I haven't seen Sydney, my little 8-year-old. I was like, great, let's play 4 games of Sleeping Queens. Let's do it. And so we did that. It filled the hole. And then I went, made dinner, took a bath. And so, right, there's ways to do it. There's ways to do it. And I've managed for this moment. My kids are 8, 11, and 13. I've managed to make it work. So is that helpful? Is that what you were looking for?
Yeah, totally. But I think that this is a conversation that not a lot of entrepreneurial empaths are talking about, right? Like that we allow ourselves to be dictated by the emotions of others. And so if we feel our kids are sad or they're needy or our parent partners or our clients, that they're hooks, right? They come in and they hook us in an emotional way that triggers a response system from our past that tells us we have to save, solve, fix whatever is going on. It is an empathic, like
100%
thing that we have, right? And so
I've trained the mind to reverse that. Have that initial instinct. It's almost instinctual for us.
Yeah.
And then I reverse it, and I teach that in the method. Have the cravings. You don't give in. There's something called a pause between a craving and a reaction to it. And then I give you all sorts of tools. Same thing here. I have a reaction to my kids. They'll have a tear, or I haven't seen you today, or this and that. And then I'm like building grit. They didn't want to see me anyway. And so I 100% give the pause before the reaction. And then I choose. And so there's a pause in there. We're allowed to choose. People don't think so. They just think, right, that an instinctual thing is the right answer. No, it's just part of being an empath.
This is so helpful. Going back to, like, when did you know you were an empath?
What a great question. So maybe not that word, right? Not the word empath. Decades ago. I mean, I read people's hearts. That is my magic. I just didn't know that that's what, but I can just read hearts. I can see what's going on in your body. I am not medical medium. I don't want to be. Since I'm a kid, I'd say I've owned it in the last decade, right? So I'm 46-ish. I've owned it in the last 6-ish. I've owned it in the last decade. Oh, wow. I actually have amazing healing abilities. I don't take credit for it. Women heal through me. I say in the last decade. Yeah. I'm like the reluctant, I met a chiropractor yesterday. He calls himself the reluctant shaman. That man put his hands over me. He's like, clavicle's out, click, click, put that back. He's like, all right, your hip is out, click, click. Okay, your nervous system's off, click, click. He's incredible. And so he called himself the reluctant shaman. He's amazing. He's here in Flagstaff, Arizona.
Well, I love the way that this conversation is just kind of going, because I think that so many of the magical entrepreneurs are afraid to come out as having magical gifts because they're not going to be actually supported by, families, or they won't be professional or this. But I'm just using this reluctant shaman as an example. For me, you tell that story and I'm like, why would I see a regular chiropractor who can't just read what's out? This is a superpower. This is like a way in which you're getting greater results, greater like efficiency, greater like clarity. Like these gifts that you guys have as listeners are actually like, they enhance and make it so much easier for people to say yes to you.
Yes. It's my superpower. There's no competition in my world. There's people who do addiction, sugar this, sugar freedom. I know, I see all these coaches, and there's no, what's the word? There's no competition. Competition's a low vibe. They're not Jenn Edden, and people will be attracted to me for my message. And so, yeah, for everyone listening, own it as soon as possible. And I find, if I'll be so bold to say it, the ones that don't get it are not going to get it whether you stay small or go big. I love my family. They don't really get it. They still give me sugar. They still say, hey, I don't gluten. I love my family. They still don't get it. But at least now, and they didn't get it before when I wasn't talking this way. So you might as well just do you, be you, knowing that the ones that need you, that you need to serve, they're going to be attracted to that like a magnet. Like I said, Alexa, my manager, she was giggling this week. I'm like, another. I'm like, okay, yes. And I don't sell. There's no selling. So for those on fear of, oh, she must have sold, I don't sell them anything. In fact, the first thing I say is I'm not here to convince you of anything. You are energetically going to know if we're a match, and I will too. And if I can best serve you, well, let's hurry up and do this. And if not, I'll at least tell you where to go, but I will not convince. And they get that right away. So it's not even like, oh my God, 18 years I can sell. Energetic. You pull them in with your energy. Yeah. And your sincerity. I mean, you're as sincere like I am. So don't think it's some sales thing either. It's energetic.
And again, we're going to tie that back to being able to tap into your own internal.
Yes.
I think that this is the way in which I feel like the conversation is coming back to this beautiful place, right? Where we started is kind of where we're coming back into, which is, when you get clear on your own desires, wants, needs, heart,
Worth.
Alignment, worth.
Yes.
Inside you.
Yes.
Not seeking it from somebody else to tell you, but like you claim it, you know it. Then everything else falls into place.
People just say, like yesterday, I love Maureen. I always ask, so does this feel right to you? I ask. If they can't feel, they don't want to be in the method. The method teaches you, module 3, to tune in to you. So you never need anything again. Not a doctor, not a coach, not a counselor, not a diet. It's very appealing. Yeah. And I said, well, do you think I'm the right person? And she goes, I can just feel it. I did enough research. I loved what you said, but I can feel it. Let's go. And I was like, of course you can come. Because if you can see what's in front of you and feel this, well, then let's go. The method's going to work for you. And it's the truth. It's almost that simple, almost. But we have to own who we are and realize in sales, I mean, we're salesmen, but I'm selling you on hopes and dreams and finally learning to kick and manage addiction. So for me, that's the best sales anyone could ever do. Like, please, I wish someone would have sold me on that 30 years ago, but the method wasn't there. I had to fall on my ass 17 million flipping times. So let's write that down. That worked. And not give up. So yeah, 100%. It's energetic. It's just not as difficult as the business world wants to make it. We can go there. It doesn't mean we don't work hard, you and I, right? And I don't have these back-end programs, an assistant that I've hired now. I work hard, so don't let me fluff this up. But it's not energetically hard. When I know I'm aligned, I want to do the work because I know what's going to come almost guaranteed, which is so different than, gosh, I'm about to work 20 hours on a webinar, or a new course, and I really hope someone buys it. It's a very different energy. That's a scarcity, hope, and a prayer versus I'm going to put the 30 hours in this week because I know who's coming in a month. Right? It's different. It's exciting. I'm always excited.
I'm going to ask a question because I know this is a question people love to ask. So when you feel that alignment, how long do your sales calls take, Jen?
That's interesting. What an interesting question. Okay, so they may still go an hour. So they're 40 minute-ish.
Yep.
They may go an hour, but what is so important is the energy flow and the ease. So I've got a new thing now. If I'm not feeling it in 10 minutes, we end it and I let them know where I think they can do that. The match isn't there. Because in 20 minutes, I know empaths know we can be so drained versus an hour with this beautiful woman, or whatever, 50 minutes yesterday. There was so much life energy flowing between us. So different. So they are, and they're shorter. And I tell them as well, the minute I feel a pulling energy, for those who want a little bit of business thoughts, I feel me pulling towards them. I let them know we're in the wrong place. I need to go. And they go, because people are so used to being sold. And I said, I don't sell you anything. If the energy isn't, you're hopeful, excited, and a little bit, oh my God, could it be this good? You don't come. And that is the emotions I'm looking for. And the minute I'm leaning in and feeling like I'm working hard, I tell them, look, we're in the wrong place. Go do some research and come back in a day. Make sense?
So good, so good. And we're going to come back to boundaries here, because this
Good.
beautiful place of where you say, you know, within 10 minutes, if there's like that, if it feels challenging, difficult, or not like you're working too hard, or
Disconnected. There's a disconnected energy, 100%.
Oh, that is such a powerful thing. You can
Good.
hear it when you're talking about people or with people, like, may have different coaches who talk about this very thing, but for some reason, Jenn, when you're describing it here, I know the listeners are going to be able to align and pick up what you're saying. So I'm so grateful for the way that this is turning in, right? But it is so important that as an empath, as somebody who is connected to energy, that if you are not feeling that connection, it is in service to that person and to your own energy for the rest of the fucking day. To be like, you know what? This is amazing.
I can't serve you is what I say. How I work does not work best for you. And there's people so used to being sold. And I said, look, God is my supply. I'll go there. I do very, very well. I don't need you to come. Sometimes women will shift their energy, but I've taken far too many clients not knowing, because I can pull out what they need, but they don't see results. And guess who's drained when they don't see results? Me. And then I can't look and feel great. And then my kids suffer. And then my marriage is, and nothing works. And so I decided 100%. Yeah, I let them know it's off. And if they don't know what that means, it's okay. Then they really need to go, because they're not energy sensitive. And for me, the sugar freedom method is for energy sensitive women. It's really high level empaths, highly sensitive, who do not know how to take care of themselves. And so addiction is our outlet when, right, the world is coming at us, amongst other things, but it's just a beautiful thing. I'm glad that you picked up on that, because we get drained as women, and then our hands are in the chips or the ice cream or the wine. I don't judge it with a Diet Coke all day. I see it all. And it's an energy management, as well as gut health and these other things, but it's an energy management issue for sure.
So two things are coming through that I want to talk about here. One is kind of like the statement, how you do one thing is how you do all things, right? Nice. So, holding the boundary in one area of your life means you're holding the boundary and calling everybody in your life to that same vibrational frequency. And so, I felt that when I'm not in alignment with my sales calls, and, my kids suffer and my husband suffers, and it just is it's all.
The planet suffers. I can go all day on this, 100%. I mean, my vibe affects everything, yeah?
It's true. And now I don't remember the second thing I was going to say. It was so fucking good. And I was like,
it'll come.
I know, it's just take a second. I'm going to go a little different. And if it's meant to come, it will come. 100%. And, these are powerful conversations to have. And it's something that I say with my clients too. And I can feel you doing this here. Our job is not to lower our vibrational frequency to make the other person feel okay. Our job, especially as empaths and spiritual entrepreneurs, is to show them what's possible in the frequency and invite them to rise to meet us. And that's what I feel so clearly in the way that you are holding that container for these people.
They instantly start to heal when they say yes. They say, when does the method start? I said, it just started. You said yes, and now you're in. And immediately, half of my work is done, because the switch has gone off, that they value themselves at the level at which I ask them to invest. And I watch it, and it's done on purpose, because their vibe just increased just from saying yes.
And I remember what I was going to say. And this is why it's so potent. And I hope everybody who feels this connection to you reaches out, because, you're going to, as you begin to work in the field of energy, you're going to start to notice certain things. You may even start to notice certain foods start to affect you differently than they used to, because we as energy workers will be called, because our body is the vessel in which we lay our worship.
You're amazing.
And spirit will get involved, and it will be like, where you might not have had sensitivities, you will, because you are being called to raise into a place of holding higher vibrations. And so Jenn happens to be the person, because sugar is one of the heaviest densities that we can carry. It really creates the addiction. Can you talk a little bit about the addiction of sugar in the body?
1,000,000%. And I just want to add to that, and I will do that, is that I became vegetarian. I don't like labels, so the method does not label anything. But you will be called, and when you have all these other things going on around you, oh, meats for this. Again, I may switch that up. But end of October, my body just said, no, thank you. I was on vacay by myself, because we all need that. What's up? At the beach, and it just said no. And I was like, huh? What? I never in my life. And it said no. And I was like, all right. Now I had a little something last week, but this is what I talk about. Because if we're on a specific diet, a paleo or this, you're going to shut that off. That feeling, that empathic, you have the empath in you because of what you've been told. And I've just been going with it. And I'm sure that's why my vibe is up, because meat is also somewhat similar, especially if it's not grass-fed, organic, killed in a way that is humane. So going back to the sugar thing. So yes, so sugar is a socially acceptable legalized drug. I just want to say it again, because we don't ever think of it that way. Sugar is a socially acceptable legalized drug, which makes it tricky in our minds. How could that be? Come from the doctor's office, here's a treat. Doctor's office, you're not well. It's your birthday, here's sugar. It's a holiday, we're happy, here's sugar. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, a loved one passed, here's sugar. And so no matter what friggin' emotion we have, sugar is always given to us. So it's not even like you could say, it's just when I'm sad. No, women come to me, I'm sad, I'm happy, I'm crying, I'm miserable, I just got married. We're eating sugar. It's because it's programmed that it's socially acceptable. The other thing about sugar is it blocks the third eye 100%, especially the sweeteners. So as you take it out, it's why women say, I'm leaving my husband, I'm gonna get married. I've seen everything in 18 years. All of a sudden their third eye opens up, the sucralose and the aspartame and all the stuff that was clogging them, they start thinking, I wanna start a business. I wanna make more money. I'm not gonna put up with this. And it's you literally start to free yourself up from the shackles of sugar suppressing not only your immune system, but literally your third eye and your energy. I know, because when I eat it, because the method teaches that, I'm like, I'm no good for like a day. I'll never have it anywhere near I have to coach. I'm like, it's Saturday, I'm gonna take the day off because I know I'm shot. There's very little intuition going on. Brain fog's gonna come. So like, I'll suck it up for the day, but I know I'm pretty much useless and I'm not attracting what I want. And so that might be a lot for women, but I do this for a living and I do take it very seriously. It is called a hit in our house. Did you take a hit today? Mm-hmm. Because it lights up the brain the way cocaine does. Okay. Studies show lights up the brain where cocaine does. And that in rat studies, when you take cocaine and sugar away and then give it back, rats prefer the sugar. Like, take that in. And so it's not to feel bad if we eat it. It's just, education is everything and understanding what it's doing. And sugar is, you can Google, always Google when I share. It is honest to God, the leading cause of every disease, okay? I've seen miracles happen in women when I just teach them how to get the flours, the processed stuff out that turns to sugar. I've seen doctors hire me in their rheumatoid arthritis, doctors who have rheumatoid arthritis and don't know how to do it. And she healed. She's like, oh my God, I can get off my meds. I mean, I've seen everything. So not to get all serious on it, and it's a problem in this world because it's socially acceptable. So it's right under the radar of, you didn't just take a line of, cocaine, you just been taking hits of soda, and I can go all day. But yes, is that good?
Like it is, because I think that when we're talking about frequency of body, of energy within the body and the capacity to be a vessel of energy flow through us, then we do. Like personally, I want to be at the highest vibration, and it's a process through the entire thing, right? And what I really find super spectacular is, like, Jenn does not deny her children sugar. If they want something, then they just have a conversation about the, like, you are not a pusher. You are not somebody who is going to
I'm not paying that therapy bill. Okay, right. That's the therapy bill later of mommy deprived me. No, but how did you feel 30 minutes later? In fact, I'd like to add to that my 11-year-old, she's 11, They wanted sugar the other day. And I love that we can recall it because it's not every day. And oh, Christmas cookies. I saved them, made with love, organic flour, no food dye. Okay, that's killer. So we did some beet juice and other food dyes. And we made our own, I can go all day. I made my own frosting and stuff, but the kids found them in the back because they wanted to save a few because I never say no. So they pulled them out. And my daughter, Caitlin, who is not spectrumy, but I know you'll understand because that's what they call these beautiful children. She's a vegetarian since 8. She can call in spirit. She's witchy and fabulous. She can feel people's energy. She talks to me about it all the time. Not great with school because it doesn't make sense to her logically. She could fix our RV when we lived in it. Okay, so she's that kid. She's sitting on the couch and she goes, oh, Mom, I had 2 cookies. I'm not going to be good for a while. Watch, I'm going to shake and don't ask me too much because I'm not going to think straight. And I thought, my work is done. She ate it. She knew she was screwed. She knew she had limitations, so don't ask me too much because I'm going to have to work this out of my system. And to me, I mean, my work is done. Like, you can have it, but you got to know what it does to you. And then at some point there'll be a choice to do what they want with it. But you cannot deprive. It is not right. And it's their body, right? It's not mine.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to actually bring it back to you. Like, you baked cookies with your kids at Christmas. It wasn't like you're like, well,
150.
Like there's a way to have it all. You can have and both.
We had them. We set a date of when they were being, I know people are going to cringe. Cookies are not food. Say it again. Cookies are not food. We threw out many of them because it was the joy of making them. We didn't have any family that would have enjoyed them. They saved their 10 favorite. They ate them till their heart's content. I think it was 5 days. And then we called it. They're gone. Mommy won't throw them out. It's not food. Let's let them go, release them into the garbage. And they served their purpose. We had fun. We bonded. God, we made like 150. We made so many. We ate some, but there's a time for them to go. And that's where I think this empath, we feel bad. It was guilt-free. We all agreed. Now they go. And then we saved. Can we save a few?
And I'm going to come back to this because I can see why Spirit keeps bringing us back to this, because this is a boundary. It's a conversation you created and had with your kids as a family. This is what we're doing. This is how it's going to, everybody understood the boundary of that, which allows us to expand fully into all parts of ourselves and experience life, because they knew the cookies were going in 5 days. It was clear. When we are clear with our boundaries, with what the outcomes are, and everybody feels safe within these containers, then there's freedom to express and to have the emotions or to experience what we're meant to experience. Oh, so good.
Avalon, well said. You take what I say and you ground it 100%. We are high level communicators in my house. You have to kick and manage addiction. When I overdo it, I have a conversation with my husband. It's just how I clear and get real. Otherwise, addiction's real. I mean, it's my whole family. No secrets, we communicate. And if they didn't like that rule, we'll bend it, but how many more days?
Right.
And I agree with you. Communication is key. And yeah, communication's everything.
And I'm going to ask this one question because I think it's important for energetic empath and business to hear.
Please.
How important is it that you do your own self-care and setting of your own energy and self?
Well, that's like another podcast. I don't look this way at almost 46, not ripped, but healthy, because I don't diet and because I don't over-exercise. I've mastered what works for Jenn Edden, and guilt never runs me. So I teach this. So it's very, 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 very important. It's Jenn always, Jenn first, family always, clients always. Can you see that? So I'm not putting anyone in. Jenn first, family, clients always. And so it's a dance all the time. It's never a hard no. It's never black and white. It doesn't work. The method teaches the gray area, how to have it, how to not have it, how to live, to go out and have a good time. So it's mandatory. But the thing is, it doesn't mean go sing Kumbaya in 10 minutes and go journal because that works for Avalon or Jenn Edden, or I've got to do yoga because my yogi said I had to stand on my head 4 days a week to get there. No, you have to figure out what works for you. And every day is different. And that's what's hard, because you got to tune into yourself. For me, a bath every day now has been life-changing with Epsom salt, a little candle. But I looked this way 5 years ago when I didn't do that. That's the whole empath, you know best, not with all due respect, your gurus. And it is very important, and it's every day. And the harder life gets, or the more energy comes at us. I mean, my business is doubling as we speak. I need more self-care every day. I'm like, I need a reset at 10, 12, 3. I need another vacation for Jenn Edden. My husband knows, any day now. What? It's unconventional. I just do what I need to look and feel my best. So it's another one of those boundaries, communication, no people pleasing. And I don't really care what my family thinks. Why does my husband not come on vacation with me? Because I don't want him, because I need to be with myself to recharge by water.
Clear your energy so that you can be in higher service to your husband, to your kids, and to your clients.
People don't understand it's okay. They don't need to. They're not at your level of consciousness. I want to make that very clear.
Right? And we're not too lower to make them feel comfortable. Raise them the fuck up. Claim it for yourself.
It's okay.
And if they don't come, it's okay. Jen and I both have people in our lives that we love, but weren't willing to rise with us. And they're dear, like they're our family. They're our closest family. And, you know, we can say it's not an easy journey to get to a place to be able to release the people with love, because it's unhealthy for us and it's unhealthy for them.
That's right. They just don't know what we do.
Mm-hmm. We just have to be the stronger ones.
That's a journey. And hang out with badass rebel fucking unicorns who remind us when we're having a weak moment, because societal norms don't promote any of what Avalon and I are talking about. So you have to know, like, you better know your tribe, find them, weak moment. I'll text, hey, you need anything? What do you got? You need anything? What do you need? I don't even need to hear a response, because if she needs it, she'll let me know. I don't even need to hear back. I just send it with love and I let it go. 100%. When I let that energy go into the suckhole, for lack of a better way to say it, let's just talk money for a second. My business doubled and it's going to triple. Okay. Within 2 or 3 years, 2 years. And I was on the road because I let that go. My energy, my fabulousness you see and feel was no longer going into a hole, and it wasn't coming back. So now I have circulating energy all day long. Yay.
Well, we are 2 people that moved across country away from our families in order, because environment is everything. It's like, I'm going to tune it to, because I was a personal trainer for 9 years.
Yes.
You know, you cannot bring junk food in the house and say, I'm going to just be like strong and determined enough not to eat it. That is a really ridiculous thing to do, to place yourself in the environment that it's available to you, because weak moments create the desire to eat the junk food, right? The same thing as surrounding yourself with low vibrational people. It is not a testament to how strong you are to stay in that environment. It is, you change your environment, you change your life.
You're the sum average of the 5 people you hang out with the most. It's absolutely, you don't even know what you want to do in business yet. Just hang out with Avalon or I for a week, and you just upped your vibe because you're the average of the 5 people. So you don't even have to know what you want to do. Just change who you hang out with and your vibe just goes up.
Yeah.
And just like it goes down, if you're around complainers and succubuses who don't necessarily mean it, it's just where they hang out. It's okay. They're just lower vibration, but they haven't achieved the same level of consciousness in some way. They haven't attuned to a higher frequency yet, and they may never want to. And you have to be willing to be okay with that. 1,000,000%. If your mission is bigger than pleasing and not having boundaries. My mission is so big. I just don't care.
I know.
5 years, sister. Household name.
Every household.
You heard it here. And Joe said, is it going to take 5 years? He did say that, because I said 5 years, household name. It's going to be Nutrisystem, blah, blah, blah. Weight Watchers, Noom, all this garbage that women get off of. And in fact, Optivia, I was like, no, did you, the Sugar Freedom Method by Jenn Edden? No, I haven't. Well, you should do that. And then we're going to have some coaches who are going to teach that around the country or the world, 100%. So my husband said real quick, he said, is it really going to take 5 years? I got to love him. And my answer was, if my energy can handle it and my children and I can stay in balance, I'll do it sooner. And that was my first thought, right thought. I'll do it, but I also will not destroy myself in the process. That would defeat the sugar freedom method.
Right.
So no, but I said I have 3 kids, Joan. If I didn't, this dang thing would be out there like a decade ago. You know, kids pull on our energy. For those who are parents, they pull on us. You have to know that. So we have to constantly replenish the pull. You got to replenish. And I have 3 and they're young. I got to replenish all the time. And they're homeschooled right now. Party in my house, 2 out of 3. So I'm constantly replenishing. Yeah, constantly.
I'm gonna just close the
Yes.
episode here because I think that this is a perfect place to complete the circle again, is that those that are listening that are utilizing their circumstance of having kids or homeschooling or doing these things. I mean, you did your highest revenue in the pandemic.
In a rig, 400 square feet.
About the choice. You choose it. You choose yourself, you choose your energy, you shift your environment, you create strong boundaries. These are essential as empaths in being able to support the amount of people that you actually want to help. Because we want to help, but we are often taught the very unhealthy way to help. And this is the healthy way to make the impact. And I think that that's a significant thing.
Beautifully said.
And I love you.
You and me, sister. Come so far. It's like a boom, like mic drop. We're good.
Anything else you want to leave people with? It's like if you could just give a Jenn Edden bomb, what would it be?
Like you can never love yourself enough. I always say first answer, right answer. Like if you think you love yourself, go love yourself more today. You can't love yourself enough, ever. You can't. Go love yourself more. Find something you just love about yourself and obsess about it today versus where's the next deal going to come from, the bank, the check. Just obsess over that. You get more of what you think about anyway. So why not obsess about how fabulous we are versus what we're not fabulous about?
Can't ask for a better ending than that, Jenn Edden. Thank you so much for sharing your brilliance, your light, your stardust with Rebel Unicorns podcast listeners. You are divine. Fucking love you.
Amazing. Thank you all.
And on the show notes will be everywhere for you to reach out to. I forgot to ask this question because I was just like, but where would they go to connect with you, Jenn?
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, you may have, I love it. Well, it's Jenn Edden, 2 N's, 2 D's, JENNEDDEN. Literally, I'm very, very simple, like the method. I'm Jenn Edden across every platform. It's just what I am. My website is Jenn Edden Coaching. You'll find me. And there's a free download of my book, Woman Unleashed. You can get that off my site, or if Avalon has a link, whatever works, but you could find me anywhere there and say where you found me, and then we can chat if you want to chat.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for that. You're amazing. And thank you for listening, and share this episode if you feel that it has touched you in a way and you are just super excited to share Edden and Avalon into the world to, really support the vibrational shift of everybody, because there's no competition. We are all in this beautiful, love-filled community together.
Amen.
This is where I'm going to have Jeff do a little, because I always want to end me.
Wow, that episode was mind-blowing. I hope you had as many ahas listening to it as I had recording it. I would love to see the Rebel Unicorns podcast spread far and wide across the globe, across the universe. So if you want to share it on your social media with something that you found impactful, leave a review, send it to a friend. It would be so deeply appreciated. Also, a little side note, I did recently change my name. I downloaded 1.5 years ago that my name was Avalon Starlight. It was previously my birth name was Tamara Arnold. And if you're interested in learning what your Rebel Unicorn house is, oh yeah, there's a quiz for that. Think Harry Potter, except you're sorted into how you are impacting the world with your stardust and what energy you're here to shift and change. You can find out your Rebel Unicorn house at www.tamaraarnold.ca/quiz. Let me know, tag me in social media, send the quiz out, and join the Rebel Unicorns Facebook group to be in a community of like-minded spiritual entrepreneurs who understand that when you shift your energy, you transform your business.